All right, ladies and gentlemen, every single person needs their focus and study guide out. Let's go. Today we're doing theories. I will tell you that I think the theories are the hardest part of cognition too. I think the grammar, syntax, morphemes, phonemes is a little tricky, but I think the theories. Now, I'm not going to tell you in front and tell you that cognitive 2 test is hard. It's not. I think it's one of our easier ones, for sure. However, you still need to know what you need to know for the test. Can we agree?
Find the test?
I did find the test. I left it in my semester 2 section. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the theory part is a little bit tricky, just knowing the differences between each of them. Those are the big parts. All right. So, as you notice, I forgot to ask you to bring whiteboards. I didn't do it last period, and then I was just kind of like, screw it. So, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spend most of the period doing whiteboards because I can finish content today. And I'm going to finish content today because Cognition 2 is not that bad. All right? So, we're going to get straight to it today and get going. So, yesterday, on Friday, did we not get to... We left off on pragmatics. Does anyone have the definition of pragmatics? Does anyone know what pragmatics are? There you go. All right. I just don't have the specific definition for pragmatics. We'll come back to it. All right. Let's do... just kidding. I do have it. Just kidding. That was a lie, Zoe. I'm so sorry, my darling. Pragmatics are the aspects of language involving the practical ways of communicating with others in niceties of language. These are things we expect of people when we're talking to them. Okay? I will tell you right now, you get annoyed at pragmatics all the time. Hang on, I think okay, so you get annoyed with the way people speak to you. Can we agree?
Yeah.
One of the worst things is when people are rude to you, when you believe people are being rude to you. That's pragmatics. Because sometimes if you ever had someone come up to me and like, what the hell is your deal? And you're like, oh my God, what? And you're like, what the hell was that? And you're like, oh my God, I totally didn't mean it. How many times have you told someone you didn't mean it when something came across in a weird way? Like 10,000 times? That's pragmatics. So, an example of pragmatics are the expectations we have of society. So when we're talking to people here in the United States, because in other cultures it's different, we're talking in the United States, what are some expectations of how we should be interacting? Come on. What is some pragmatics? Maggie? Eye contact. Okay? When I'm talking to you, I should be looking at you, correct? Okay? Maggie just raised her hand, so I made eye contact with Maggie, and now I'm looking at Maggie because we were having a conversation. Okay? Have you ever had a conversation when you're one-on-one with someone? And then they're like, yeah. And like, it's going really great. And you're just like, what the hell is happening? Right? And then they're like looking around, and then you start looking around, and you're just like, what is happening? My sister is one of those people who she just closes her eyes mid-conversation. It just finishes the conversation in her head. Drives me insane. She does not follow pragmatics. Okay? What else is another expectation? Claire?
Like, please and thank you.
Yes! When you ask for something, you should say. When you get something, you should say.
Thank you.
Yes! I think this is dying in our culture. Okay? When you are coming up to someone you don't know, you can't. What are you supposed to say? You can greet yourself, introduce, but like, for instance, I went to Universal yesterday.
Harry Potter? That's fun.
I hate Universal. So we have season passes so we can hang out with my parents because my parents were like, we never see you. I'm like, I hate Universal. So naturally we paid $800 so we have season passes. McCrae's been twice. We've owned the tickets for 6 months now. Yesterday was his second time. So McCrae was like, I paid $800. Like, we need to go. So we went yesterday. And the lady at the ticket counter, like when you do your parking, which by the way is $25. to park there after you've already paid $100 to get in. Does that make... I hate Universal. I hate all of the parks, but anyway. Okay. Well, when I handed it to her, I was like, here, thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Of course. Thank you very much, ma'am. You know, and saying, and she's like, you're an oddity. I was like, what the hell? She's like, people don't say please and thank you and ma'am, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am anymore. And I was like, it was awkward because that's how I talk. You know, I try to be respectful. And I always say it. How many of you say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am on a regular basis? There you go. Is that the expectation in our society, though? Would we say pragmatics? It depends on what culture you're from. My parents' house, like if you met my parents, they would introduce themselves as Mr. and Mrs. Reeves. Like even like my best friend Jasmina, like she still my mom has said, you know, I introduced her to a grown woman. My best friend's 30, and my mom's like, Mrs. Reeves. And I introduced them, this is Mr. and Mrs. Reeves, and that's it. My mom will be offended if anyone calls her Ann, who is like under her age, who is not what she considers of the same age. Would you agree? How many of you grew up saying Miss Sam or Miss Kate? How many of you said last names like Miss Reeves, Miss to anyone when you met someone?
My parents' friends.
Yeah.
That's
Who I
like a
didn't
weird
know
skill
the
like
last
that.
name.
Yeah, that's pragmatics.
Yeah, or like from parents.
Yeah, like do you say please and thank you every time you do something, even to people who are definitely below? Huh?
Not like friends, like
Okay, yeah.
Not
like
every
when
time,
I
but
talk
most
to
of the
Jasmine,
time.
when I talk to my best friend, I say derogatory things to her.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
people that are like.
I'll be like, sorry, I would say a few things that I'm like,
But like,
Yeah.
I will say. So McCray and I do not have a perfect marriage. We are absolutely not perfect. We are by far
Pretty
not
close to it.
perfect. No, we are
no,
not.
it is.
No, we are definitely not. But I will tell you, it is a rule in our house that when McCray does something for me, I say thank you out loud to him. And when I do something for him, he better say thank you. And I will tell you, that does solve a lot of issues. Just like being acknowledged that you did something, right? Because like I worked Saturday night, and so we were going to Universal yesterday, so McCray cleaned the whole house. I was so, and he even mopped, like above and beyond, not just like vacuum, but then mopped.
You said thank you.
Oh, hell yeah, I did, because I wanted to do it again. Conditioning, okay? It wasn't like I was just going out with my girlfriends and having a night out in the town. Look, I was working my second job, but he did it, all that stuff. So I went out of my way the next morning to make a big deal out of it, saying like, oh my God, thank you so much. It made Sunday a lot nicer because we didn't have to deal with all the crap of like cleaning the house, doing the grocery shopping, and going to Universal. I hate Universal. Anyway, pragmatics are the different things of society. So you're going to turn to your neighbor and share something. What is a rule that when people break in society drives you insane? Like when people don't make eye contact with me when they're forcing me to have a conversation with them, I think that is rude as shit. Oh, and another thing, with you people, I hate when you have one earbud in when you're talking to me. That is so rude. If you're going to talk to me, take it out. I would never talk to you with one earbud in. I wouldn't. It's rude. You have my attention. Turn to your neighbor and share what drives you crazy when you talk to people. What? No, it's like Diana, talk to Sarah. Dennis, turn around and put effort in. No, turn around and speak to her. Your pragmatics
It's
are
like, I
off.
feel like sometimes
You're speaking to her.
I'm like close with people and time goes by and like if I see someone I'll be like, hey, what's up?
5, 4, 3, 2,
Yeah, I didn't even
1. Here we go.
People
Anyone
think
come
they're
up with another example of a pragmatic that you
Nope.
absolutely hate when you're talking to people? Katie.
When they're rude to like servers.
Yes! Ugh! Do not talk down to them. A, they control your food. B, what makes you better than them? They're hustling hard, and that could be their second, third job. That does not make you better than them. Ugh. I hate that so much. Thank you. Yes. Don't be a piece of crap. Be nice to your server. A, they control your whole evening. Why would you mess up that power?
Spit your food.
Because I wouldn't say spin your food. I've never spent anyone's food, but I have sabotaged meals before because I can. Because I will purposely, you don't like ketchup? Extra ketchup. Like, if you're rude, absolutely. I don't care. Absolutely. Oh, I will go out of my way. Absolutely. And every server is, because there is just only so much you can take. Thank you, Katie. Oh, that makes my heart warm. All right, what's another thing? Claire.
When people are like, I don't know, like.
Oh! Those people.
Likes or,
Oh, yeah, that is hard.
Just be quiet and like figure
Come
out
up with a
your
thought and then
and then
tell me
say
the
it.
thought, the complete thought. Dennis.
When somebody like looks down into their phone while speaking to you and then the response is delayed.
Yeah, that is so rude.
Oh,
Oh, that's awful.
That's brutal too.
Like, if you're talking to me, talk to me and then deal with
It's
it.
like,
Grace Mary, what do you got?
This is not like so much better than weird thing, but as an embarrassed word, and I think people are rude to subs. Like,
Oh, I mean,
Can't relate.
I don't relate. I can't really relate because, like, I'm never absent.
I wouldn't say we were rude. We sat with our heads down the whole class.
They're doing this.
Facts.
What do you got, Carolyn?
when people get up from the table or like get on phone calls and
Yeah, that's so rude.
I think it's just
It's so rude. What do you got, Sadie?
already like disrespecting your elders. Like, just like,
I don't know. Sometimes I think elders can be
like,
rude, but
It depends on like if it's like a real like for I don't. It's just the way I was raised. in my
No,
family.
I-
Even if
absolutely.
they're, like,
absolutely.
But, like, you always have
Like,
to.
you should
even if
default
they're-
respect, but then like,
But if they're like a really bad person, that
yeah,
would
absolutely. Aiden, what do you got?
When people like try to use bigger words to sound smarter, but they use them wrong.
Yeah, no, that's funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
It's funny. It's not. That doesn't annoy me. It makes me laugh. What do you got?
When people don't push in chairs.
Oh.
Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah.
Does it?
I could rip
That's
off.
not a language thing.
That's just
but-
that's an etiquette thing.
Okay. All right, Maya, what do you got?
When someone doesn't say excuse me, they just push you away.
Yes, I agree.
Shove
I agree. But hi, these exceptions are different. Like, for instance, yesterday I was reading an article about Japan, and in Japan you have to push your way through things or you'll never get
Oh,
anywhere.
it's wild.
So, like, it just depends on the culture. So the expectations we have here are not.
It's just like throwing elbows. Just
Three.
I'm not.
2, 1. All right, here we
Go
go.
crazy.
Next one. Drew, did you want to say a pragmatic, my darling? You're good? All right. Here we go. So your first language theory, which is on both your focus and on your study guide. How's that going there? Linguistic relativity hypothesis is the theory that thought processes and concepts are controlled by your language. This is one of my favorite theories, and I really, really do believe in it. It's a theory, however, so does that mean it's absolute fact? No, because if it was absolutely 100% true, it'd be a... There you go. So it's a theory, which means it's not 100% proven. However, it's one of my favorite theories because I really do agree with it. Okay, so...
Is this the theory where it's like you think in English if you're an English speaker?
No. No. All right, linguistic relativity hypothesis is the amount of words you have in your head shape your thoughts. So, the more words you have at your disposal means the larger your thoughts are. So think about it.
Definitely true.
What is the matter?
I think that's directly related. Like imagine making a spat. Like it's
That's not what this is.
I know.
He was wrong.
Yeah, I know, but then it just
Cool. You're missing what is on the
What
test
language?
and what you do need to know.
Sorry.
Linguistic relativity hypothesis is the amount of words in your head shape the complexity of your thoughts. So the more words you have, the more complex you are. The less words you have, the more simplistic your life is. And I agree 100%. Imagine a world where you only had beautiful, cute, pretty. Wow. As your descriptors, your descriptions of things that are attractive, are like don't support it. Sam
What
Sam
was the video? Yes, the video you got when you're talking to your class, you're like, there's two people who only
That's in your
Oh, I talk shit about you too all the time. Okay? With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, imagine if you had a very small language, okay? And you can only describe things of beauty, of things of inspiration, things of like true superiority, as in, wow. Okay, imagine going to like the Taj Mahal. So McCrae's best friend growing up, her and her husband are in India right now. Their whole bucket list is to cross off the 8 world wonders, the ancient world wonders, and they finally finished. They saw the Taj Mahal on Saturday, which is pretty cool. Did you just say raw?
I didn't even say anything.
He mouthed it.
Okay. Imagine standing in front of the Taj Mahal, and it was one of the days that it was actually clear and there wasn't that much smog, so you could actually see the Taj Mahal from afar. Okay, and they got these incredible photos, and imagine just saying, raw, or drip, drip. That shit you say. You do know we're making fun of you, right? Like,
The Taj Mahal is raw. That's a fact. Like that's not like
Factual statement.
you're gonna let your boy look like this?
I can't control
Anyway.
it. He looks quite happy. I'm
Just in
gonna be real.
different ways.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He's not gonna act like a 35-year-old man.
I'm sorry, are you saying he's acting anywhere above the age of 4?
I don't know any 4-year-olds to say raw.
Yeah, I know.
They do use the same words over and over again, so.
yeah. I'm just gonna stop.
So, linguistic relativity theory means the more words you know, the more complex your thoughts are. So if you know 6 words to describe things,
Wait, count.
would you be able to fully express your ideas and thoughts? And would you be able to have more complex thoughts if you can only describe things as raw, drip, juice,
Oh, juiced.
whatever, gas,
Saucy.
grease, okay?
Facts.
Facts, that's the other one. Ladies and
He's got
gentlemen,
some.
by being able to add words to your vocabulary, you earn complexity. Like for instance, hopefully at this point, let's talk about different colors of red.
Navy.
Maroon, velvet, crimson, burgundy, one of my faves.
Scarlet.
Scarlet, what's another red? Magenta falls in red. That's a magenta, that's a red. It's like hiding, it's heading. Bozo red. That's a
Is
bozo
it a
red.
blood red?
Blood red is a good one.
Like brick red.
So ladies and
sanguine.
ladies and gentlemen, right away, when you see something, I'm done with this. Okay, right away, ladies and gentlemen, instead of just saying, it's red, you can say, oh, it's blood red, it's crimson red, it's magenta, apparently you people are rejecting, fine. It's a different term. Does it add more complexity to the statement you're making? Yes, and that's what linguistic relativity theory is. If your only word that you can use to describe the color red is red, are you adding, enhancing, or simplifying and dumbing down? Simplifying and dumbing down, and that's the thing. So linguistic relativity theory is simply saying that the more intelligence you have, put your phone away, the more intelligence you have, the larger your vocabulary. The smaller your vocabulary, the dumber you sound. What do you got?
What is the major figure?
Linguistic is done by Saffir-Whorf. If you look at the third box from the bottom, it's an S that's been cut off. Dennis, pull it together, sweetie. I'd say my 8th period too. We're working. Thank you.
What am I supposed to write for Saffir?
He's the dude behind. They're the 2 dudes behind linguistic relativity theory. See how much you miss when you're not paying attention?
Yes.
Yeah, so join us, please. Okay, so linguistic relativity theory is done by Saffir-Whorf. They're the third ones up from the bottom of your focus. It's an S that's been cut off. They are the ones who believe that more words in your language. Imagine when you're trying to romance someone. You meet the love of your life and you're like, if I don't have this person, I'm going to die. And the only thing you can say is, Facts. Okay.
Beautiful, that's
So,
fine.
you're beautiful, and that's facts. Wow. Okay. You're not gonna romance the ladies, is what I'm saying. You gotta add some depth to that. Cognitive universalism, ladies and gentlemen, is the theory that all concepts are universal and the influence and the development of language. So, let you write it down before I explain it further. Keep in mind, this is both on your focus and on your study guide. So some of you may have only done it on your focus, but you also have it on your study guide, so you might as well, you know. Okay, so cognitive universalism is the theory that concepts are universal and influence the development of language. It is the belief that all of us intellectually and linguistically are in the same place. Do we agree?
Like mentally or physically?
Mentally, like linguistically. So like it's just the big difference between my use of language and Bernstein's use of language, okay, is going to be experience, and you need to note that. Experience is what changes my linguistic foundation from Bernstein's linguistic foundation. So, cognitive universalism is the belief that we are all the same linguistically and cognitively, but it's our experiences. So, one of the things that impressed me the most, like, of course, meeting really bright people, I'm, like, always inspired by, and I always want to do better. Like, really well-read. Have you ever met someone who's really well-read? And, like, they're just sitting there, and they can just casually, like, include things in conversation, and you're just like,
Wow.
you're just like, breathe. I know.
I don't understand what you're like.
What, well-read? Have you ever spoken to someone who really knows what they're talking about?
Books.
It's not, it's,
Well,
High level.
no, read it.
I know you
no, it's not. Guys, being well-read doesn't mean, like, you've read every book in the world and you can speak about it. It's like, for sports, we'll talk sports. Talking to someone who is very
It's like
intellectual on
most times
football, for
something,
instance. Sitting down with, you know, who's the guy with the amazing West Virginia accent? Oh, he's in the Hall of Fame. He played for University of Miami. Yes. Thank you. What's his name?
Could be Benny.
He was a running back.
Oh, no.
I can't think of his name. Anyway, if you look at all the guys on, and I don't think they have any women on Sunday Night Football yet. One day. If you look at all the people who host the NFL shows, trying to connect to my boy over here, okay? When you hear those people speak, you know they know what they're talking about, the fact that they can spew out these facts, and like have you ever talked to anyone like that? Like in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that whole, like having that conversation and having them, oh, like it's like this time when this person did this and this, you know, they beat this route of that person, and like having that real high level conversation about it. And have you ever been impressed by their amount of knowledge?
Yeah.
Why do I bother?
Yeah, no, I understand.
That's what being well-read is that they're able to express themselves and commit and make context. Okay, so when we talk about cognitive universalism, is the belief that we are all on the same playing field, but it's our experiences that shake it. Now, one of the people that really impressed me are stand-up comedians. Like, I'm not funny. I can make stupid jokes, and I make lame jokes all the time because it makes me happy. But I have no illusions that I am witty, because I'm not. But the fact that people can stand there and come up with a quick comeback really quick always impresses me. And like, I have a couple of really witty friends, and they are my favorite people. And I love them because of how quick they think and the insults that just come out of their mouth as fast as they do. It just warms my heart in such a way. I also think, whether you're a Republican, Democrat, I don't care, but hopefully when you watch the debates, Okay, whether you're following the Democratic debates or not. When you watch the debates and they have people up there asking you questions and how quick they can respond and defend and then come up with an anecdote to support whatever they're saying, I hope that impresses you. Does it? The fact that they can stand up there and converse as quick as they can and defend themselves. I mean, if you think back, with the Donald Trump and Hillary, if you were watching those debates in 2016, going back and forth, whether you love Trump, hate Trump, his ability to coin a term is impressive.
Unmatched.
Like, his ability to just sit there and insult people is really funny. And his nicknames for people, sadly, they are so hard to get rid of. He's very good at that. Whether you love Trump, hate him, you've got to give him that. On the other side of it, Hillary, looking back at those debates, because I doubt that all of you are watching the Democratic ones. You better put that phone away, girl. I'm not working up here for fun, that's for sure. With that being said, if you remember Hillary was on point talking about the topics at hand all the time, correct? Which made her unlikable. Because you had Donald Trump just making fun of her the whole time, which is funny to watch. Everyone who ever watched those debates couldn't help but laugh every time Donald Trump made a funny comment making fun of Hillary Clinton. Whether you love Clinton or not, they were funny. When you have Hillary Clinton standing up there and pretending Donald Trump doesn't exist, wandering around behind the podium behind her, okay, staying on focus and doing that, that was also really impressive, and hopefully you can appreciate the skill and ability, you should, because she is very bright, her ability to stand and deliver. Whether you like her, whether you agree with her, I don't care. But you should be able to respect someone who can stand on point, even with the clown, with Donald Trump walking around behind her, like mean mugging her and like making these comments behind her. I mean, that took some huge focus for her to still stand there and deliver every single time. Okay? So, when we're talking about that, essentially cognitive universalism says we're all capable of that. Being super, super witty, and being able to project our clear thoughts and opinions despite whatever the hell is going on around us. Would you agree or disagree?
Well, capable.
Turn to talk to someone you haven't spoken to today and share. Do you agree or disagree? We're all on the same intellectual plane, but it's our experiences that shape us.
I
Go.
disagree.
Some people
I've met
Zach, turn to
people
Maya.
that I can just tell are like
Carolee, talk to Sarah.
I know both of y'all
Actually,
have
Carolee,
to,
you talk
but
to
y'all
Dennis.
smart.
Lauren, please talk to Sarah.
What'd you get in the SAT? 50. Yeah. My man is smart.
Well, I got no issue with
Five,
People
four,
don't understand things until like
3, 2, 1. So raise your hand if you like this one. That with experience, everyone could be on that level. Think about it. I mean, if you're like a funny person, if you're like a little kid and you make a joke and everyone laughs, okay, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You're trying to make funny. So, like, there's growth there. I apparently made a joke when I was a little kid and no one laughed. Which is why I don't have that skill. It's fine, Curran. I'm really not that funny. I get it. You know, like the ability to stand and just deliver information clear. It's not something I've ever really practiced in my whole life. Does that make sense? Like, I've never really pushed myself to memorize tons of information just flat off a page and then be able to spout it. Have you?
No, AP World? You know all of that,
you know.
Bennett.
Yeah, but I got triggers. Like, I'm not saying I'm an idiot.
And you have triggers.
But, like, I have, like, the PowerPoint. Like, I have little things that remind me of things, and then I can spew off. And, like, I've been doing it for a while. I appreciate that you got my back, right or die. Like, girl,
So you don't.
my heart is warm. But no, I can't. No, if I stand up there in front of, like, first of all, if I was ever in any of those presidential debates, they would say, introducing Samantha Bennett. And I would pee my pants. And I would leave. That would be how Samantha Bennett does in the debate. It would be terrible because that is just way too much. Okay? Like, that is not for me. But cognitive universalism says that I have that intellectual ability. But maybe if I practiced more when I was younger, I would be able to do it. Fair?
Do they have like notes on the podium with them during a
No, they're not allowed to. Which is why as soon as they walk out there, they start scribbling down stuff. Everyone gets a white
like a memo sheet, and they can, like the pad of papers, the legal papers, they have those out there, and they have 3 or 4 pens out there. Everyone has the same structure, but they're not allowed to have their notes. So that's why when they get to their podiums after they wave and smile, they're like frantically writing, is because they're making notes that they want to refer to. And in between the breaks, you'll see the makeup people come over, but they're sitting there scrambling down, trying to remember the notes they made.
They wear makeup?
Yeah, you look better on camera with makeup. Do you want to look sick?
Because of the lights.
Yeah, because of all the lights and stuff. They all wear makeup. Donald Trump wears makeup every time he's on camera. Maybe not like when he's doing his chopper talks. Maybe not during his chopper talks, but the other stuff. Animals! Here we go. The major figures, I can't recall at the moment. However, animal language I do know. Animal language is animals can learn language. Not all of them. Like your goldfish is never going to learn language. They just don't have the brain capacity to do it. But some animals can learn language, but they can't learn syntax. You need to have that fact down. They cannot learn syntax. And what does syntax mean, Rex?
Syntax means the system of rules for combining words and phrases.
Yeah, for instance, Toby knows the word treat. He knows sit. He knows jump. He knows shower time. We live in a condo, so Toby has to take showers. And every time he goes to daycare, like he did yesterday because we went to Universal, he has to take a shower. So I'll just point and I say shower time, and he'll go stand in the shower and wait for me to get in there and bathe him. He knows those words. But is Toby going to say, "Hello, mother, I require a treat today"? Is he gonna say that? Hell no. If the dog place we brought him yesterday beats the hell out of him, would I ever know? No. He can't make words. He can't express his ideas, but he can hear and process language. Some, not a lot. He's not a very bright dog, as I've told you. But he can understand some language. But he can't put it into syntax form, and that's the big difference. Now, on your study guide, second from the bottom, it's called Kanzi. K-A-N-Z-I. Kanzi. K is the letter you're missing there. That is a chimpanzee who learned between 4,000 and 5,000 words. What? Yeah, he's dead. I got yelled at for pointing that out last period. This is Kanzi. I don't know. They were like, that was so dark that you just had to include it. I was like, but he died. He's not around anymore. We don't have the science behind it anymore. But yeah, they taught him like 4,000 and 5,000 words, and he could make complex thoughts by pointing. Now, he couldn't make his own language. He couldn't use sentence structure. But you could say, "How are you feeling today?" And he would say, sad. Like one of the monkeys, while he was alive, died. And yeah, they can't speak, but he can point to images. See? He's got an image board. And they can do complex thoughts. Like he could be able to, one of the things he could do is he could express love for people for different reasons. Like my dog loves me because I'm reliable. I'm the one, when Toby needs to go out, I'm the one he goes to. When he needs food, guess who he's calling for? When he needs water, it's Samantha Bennett. However, when Toby wants to play, it is McCrae Bennett. He loves McCrae and gets so excited when McCrae is home because that's someone who's going to play. Samantha Bennett is not. Could you imagine me on the floor with the dog playing? No, absolutely not. No, your man is well fed. He's watered. He got exercise at the park. I kicked his ball. We had a great time at the park, but I'm not rolling around on the floor and chasing him around the kitchen table. Hell no. That's McCrae's job. Okay? No, it's not. I got a little cuddle buddy. However, I'll tell you, when Toby wants to just lie on the couch, guess who's sitting with? Me. It breaks McCrae's little heart. It's fine. I'm fine. All right. Tomorrow, you have 21 through 30. Any questions, concerns, comments? What?
Did Aiden say gas, drip, or breathe?
Oh, they said it 400 times.
I didn't know. I said raw. I said
But
raw.
did he say those 3 words?
I said raw and
Did
smash.
anyone
I give
say
my
one of those
cookie.
words?
She offered me a cookie if I didn't say gas, drip, or
I don't know.
grease.
Potter would be a better person to ask.
This was a big vlog.
I didn't hear Aiden, but I heard a lot of drip of it from Zach.
There's
I heard
drip.
Zach. I definitely heard Zach. I don't think I heard Zach.
I knew exactly which words I could not use.
Well, there you go. Potter would be the one
Thanks,
to tell
Paul.
you.
I'm right in the middle
Me
of
and
both.
Rex are just dogs. Since day one,
So too.
dogs out here now.
Pass that to me.
Oh my god, you can get up, you're getting a cookie.
Oh yeah, but I'm still packing out. Am I worthy?
He's blessing us for not saying drip.
Wait, she just blessed him up?
For not saying drip.
Gas or grease. I told him if he didn't say all any of those words the
What
entire
about for everyone else who never says them
Right.
every day?
I know, what the hell? For us who have.
She just blessed it.
A solid vocabulary.
Oh my god, please leave, I'm done with you.
I'm not gonna reward you for knowing AP Psych stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. When you pass my exam, I get $50. Congrats.